Well, hello there, it's Beards and Bangers, and today we are looking at a car that it's the first time I've driven one of these things. It's was at one point the fastest Rover ever built and only superseded by one particular model. And it's going to be an absolute hoot driving this thing. So let's dive on in and have a look at a Rover 220 Turbo Coupe. So if we look at the history of the R8, so obviously the R8 was developed in the late 80s. It was shared many components, including the chassis with the Honda Concerto, and of course that went, that was launched I think in 1989 with the first models of the R8. So the Rover 214, Rover 216, powered initially by Honda D series engines. Also some of them were powered by the Rover T series engine, a development made for the Rover 800. Derived from the M series, which of course has its underpinnings in the O series and before that the B series. So in 1992 Rover actually really ramped things up. They took the T series and they stuck a turbo on it and they made the 220 Turbo. Now the internal designation for this car was Tomcat, and now that's a name that's stuck. So we'll grab the camera, we're going to have a look over this rather colourful 220 Turbo Coupe, and then I'm really excited because we're going to take it out for a drive, and it's got a few bits that aren't quite standard, but I know the owner of the car is putting it back to where it should be gradually. So it's going to be loved. It's going to be given some some serious appreciation, this car. And one thing I will say is thank you very much, Blain, for lending me the car for a couple of hours this afternoon. Another glorious day here in the North Buckinghamshire countryside. I'm sitting here, I'm even cooking in this jumper. So I was going to show you my beanie hats, but they're available in one of the links somewhere. So grab yourselves one of them while you can, and we'll try and do some baseball caps for the summer as well. So let's grab the camera and have a look round this rather nice car. So parked up outside a rather nice church. I'm coming this side so we get the car in the sun, but this isn't a standard colour. People look at this and think, oh, it's a monogram. I didn't realise there was a 220 Turbo in monogram colours. It's not. This car was charcoal black at one point, and we'll see under the engine bay that colour, and that's what eventually Blain's going to do, is to bring it back to that correct colour. And actually charcoal black on these cars, everyone thinks about the Tahiti blue ones, the very distinctive colour, but it's actually the charcoal black ones I think look really good. This one's got Tomcat written on the side. That shouldn't be there. This is a sort of chromatic blue. It can be brown, it can be purple, it can be blue, it can be pink. It's an interesting colour. So first glance you think, oh, it must be a special monogram or a monogram trial, but it's not. It's someone's changed this car in the past. So obviously the chassis underneath is R8, but it's completely new panels. So it's completely different. The bonnet, you've got this little bulge in here, which we'll see the reason for that in a sec. But you've got, I think the wings are the same, but the doors and the back panels are completely different. Really good looking car. Of course, one of the big features on this car is the T-bar roof. So I've got these on sort of tilt just to give it a bit of ventilation, because it's a very warm day and I don't really fancy testing out the air conditioning just in case it doesn't work. But you can actually remove these, and originally the cars came with a special bag to protect them and put them in the boot. Yeah, we'll have a look over the front. So yeah, very, very sleek car, very much lower than the 214 and the 216, the typical kind of R8 shape that we all think of. But yeah, once we get in it, it's really, you feel very, very snug, and the interior on this thing is absolutely beautiful. But very nice lines. We've got our lovely R8 front, and we've got the grille style as well. So does look really good. But yeah, beautifully designed car, absolutely really, really nice. I'll just grab the bonnet open. I'll probably have to pause you to do that, because I always struggle to do two things at once. So the first thing, before we talk about the engine, the first thing I'll talk about is the colour. So that's what the colour should be. So the strut top that's the actual colour car. So it's a very dark grey, so charcoal black or dark grey. Here's our engine bay. We've got our T-Series, lovely flat top on the rocker cover, on the cam cover on these. We've obviously got a turbo down there, intercoolers here, and then everything else is pretty much, you know, as you'd expect it in a kind of Rover engine bay. The bonnet bulge normally sits here, so I can't normally think what sits here, but it does give you a slightly sportier look. The sound deadening's seen better days, but yeah, that expansion tank hasn't changed. We have got ABS. We've got a torsion limited slip differential on this car, so that really gives you some, you know, good stability. It's almost like having traction control. Of course, T-Series, we've got a dizzy on the end of the camshaft, or this camshaft here. But yeah, lovely wide engine, all alley, very, very strong engines. So they had three versions at launch in 1992. You had the 1.6 D series, that's the Honda D series engine, and you had T series naturally aspirated, still putting out 136 horsepower. But this, the turbocharged T series, puts out 197 brake horsepower. So in 1992, that was one hell of a powerful car. But everything's laid out very nicely. It's all you know, easy to get to. It's a familiar sight to viewers of my channel. If you're new to the channel, do consider subscribing firstly and hitting the bell notification. It's greatly appreciated. But also, yeah, this is the sort of very typical engine layout that didn't really change. If you look at a 2005 ZR, obviously you've got a smaller engine because it's a K series, but it's a very familiar layout. Now in 96 they actually changed it, so it became, rather than being called the Rover 220 Coupe or Rover 200 Coupe, it just became the Rover Coupe, and it did overlap for a couple of years, so 96 to 98 with the R3 shaped 200. So there's a bit of overlap. Same with the 400 Tourers, they kept those going. I'm just going to open the boot up, but yeah, in 96 they actually changed to, he says, I'm going to try and open the boot. I think we need to use the button. There's a little pull handle. We don't look at the interior yet really, but you've got a little lever down there, so that's a very Honda detail. So if you drive a Civic, it's exactly the same. But yeah, our boot really is, there's not a lot to it. So you can store your Targa top roof panels in here. There is space for a spare, probably a space saver. I don't think it's quite big enough for a full-sized wheel. But yeah, there it is. Decent enough boot. Obviously it's not a convertible. They did do a convertible of these, but that's a completely different animal. Yeah, going back to the engine, so yeah, 96 they got rid of the T series, got rid of the Honda D series, and they just had K series powered cars. So for the run out of the model, they had a 1.6 naturally aspirated, 1.6 K series, and then a 1.8 VVC. VVC is perfectly drivable, really good. Excellent car, but this is the one to drive. The 220 turbo, 197 brake, that lovely PG1 gearbox, which we'll have a fiddle with in a minute, and also you've got that Torsen limited slip diff, so it really just handle nicely. I've given it a bit of a drive before I started the video. I always do that just to kind of get the feel of the car. But let's jump inside. We've had a look at the exterior in the engine bay, in the boot. We'll grab the camera and have a look inside. So getting in, our door handle is just the same that we find on any R8 or even a Rover 25. Obviously being a two-door, nice big doors, beautiful beige leather, that's really lovely. We haven't got crispy door cappings as well. Mirror controls in the door. We have got a nice big speaker here. I haven't tested the stereo out, but we don't need to do that. It's not about, this isn't a car audio channel, it's a car channel. So we're greeted by our typical R8 dashboard. That's really the same. Very hot, again, very Honda. We've got our electric mirror controls down here, rear heated rear screen, front and rear fog lights, hazard warning lights, key barrels down here. We've got this very handy, I love this in the R8, very handy coin tray. When you're going over in Oxfordshire, we have these little bridges that charge 5p toll to get across, so it's very handy to keep some small change in there. These vents, we recognise. Heated controls standard, of course. This being a more sort of top of the range model, we've got air conditioning. Excuse me, my camera bag there. We've got this lovely shelf. I won't call it a tea shelf because another channel does that, and I don't want to nick his lines. And then we've got this lovely bit of wood insert there, which is just beautiful. But just look at these seats. Look at these seats. They are absolutely glorious. I don't know the name of the style. You've got room for 2 people in the back, but they are absolutely lovely, lovely, lovely seats. Nice big footwell. You've got metal down there, some metal pedals, really nicely positioned, nicely spaced out, very easy to drive. So I've never driven one of these. I've driven a Rover 200, Rover 400 before, but I've never driven a 220 Turbo Coupe. But if I just turn the camera around, I just feel really, you feel snug. You've got a centre armrest down here. So it's quite a nice driving position. This one hasn't got, so purists will go, oh my God, you can't do that. But this one's got a Momo wood and leather steering wheel. It's quite small. It feels absolutely superb in the hands. You feel like you're really in tune with the car. So obviously the airbag, which this would have had, has been coded out. But that is a seriously, seriously nice steering wheel. It is really nice. Excuse me, my camera bag. We've got a fairly decent sized glove box. We've got door cubbies, got electric windows front and rear. We haven't got opening quarter lights, so if we just peek through there, they're just tiny little windows. But you could, I'm not going to try and get in the back, but then the legroom at the back is not disastrous. And there we are. So there's the inside. It's very, other than the, obviously here's the inside. Show you this lovely, I think it's like a 4-way stretch fabric for the headlining, so very, very durable. But here's the inside of your target light. So these will pop out. This will also pop out as well. So it's almost like a, folding tops. You've got a really nice feature with that. Sun blinds, bit smaller than the standard R8. Obviously it's got not as much head height in here. So if I show you my probably slightly sweaty bull's head, I'm not that far from the roof of the car. But it doesn't matter because this thing drives great, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. Okay, so we're unimmobilised. So hopefully you can pick that up quite nicely. I'm just going to have a quick fiddle with microphones, because what I really want to do is get the this car's got a dump valve on it, or a wastegate, so it's got a real nice, when you rev it up, it's got a real nice sound. So I'm just going to get myself sorted out, and then we're going to take it for a drive. So I'm just kind of on the Buckinghamshire, Northamptonshire borders here, not actually very far from where I live, about 15 miles from where I live. So I do know these roads fairly well, so hopefully that'll lend it to having a decent blast. Okay, so while we're manoeuvring in this village, we can just test a few things like the turning circle and its kind of low speed driving prowess. Steering is lovely. It feels very, very taut and direct. PG1, so yeah, that goes in nice and easily. So really nice gear change on the PG1. You can very easily get it's very easy to rebuild the linkage as well on these. So if it's all gone a bit sloppy, you can get a linkage rebuild from good old discount MG Rover spares. You can get the bushings from them as well, or eBay if they haven't got them in stock. But what you can also do is get a short shifter kit for the PG1 as well, so long as your exhaust actually allows you enough movement to do that. But yeah, we're just going to take it gently through here. The steering's lovely. It is quite rattly. That's just, it's a mid-90s car. This car's 30 years old, so it's allowed to be a little bit rattly. But it's just on these country lanes, and it's quite a stiff chassis. This very stiff suspension, so we've got to be a little bit careful on some of these roads because they are narrow as well. But I feel quite happy just cruising around here. Cyclist. So I feel very happy just cruising around here. The brakes are really good. They're really crisp. Blain has had some brake work done, so it had some sort of Japanese setup on there. A bit big for the hubs. He's going to change the wheels. So I didn't actually point out the wheels because they're not the typical coupe wheels. You normally have like a Cosmos style alloy, but on this we've got some aftermarket. So he's gradually working through all these things. He's just had a big bill, or big quote, sorry, to get the car resprayed back into that charcoal black. Paint is expensive these days, so that's kind of something that's going to happen. Hopefully you can just begin to pick up that wastegate noise, because it's bloody lovely, I have to say. It is, yeah, it's a nice car. I've just been driving this car for what, half an hour, and I'm getting some very admiring glances. So I'm very envious of Blain being able to drive this thing around. He takes it out quite a lot. He was up at Kathleen and Machine yesterday, so, and I know that we'll see this car at some of the shows during the summer and coming up. I know I saw it at the BL Autumn Rally in Milton Keynes. That's not that far from us here. Back in, what was it, September. So it's a car that we will see. You'll probably see it on the channel again in a show, but I'm just so thankful that he's letting me drive it. I'm going to get it on the main road in a minute, and that's when we'll really give it some beans. I will do some exterior. There will be some exterior shots spliced in here as well, but I'm just a bit concerned about. There we go. Hopefully that's picking up. I've got both microphones on just to give us the best shot, but it's a very nice sound. The T series is a very strong engine. They do leak oil. They love leaking oil for fun, but it's a seriously tough unit. Really, really tough engine. 136 in naturally aspirated form, but this, I don't know what it's putting out, but we will give it a good old accelerate in a minute, and it is quick, believe me. I really like this. This is absolutely amazing. And I'm not even driven it hard yet, so let's get it out towards Milton Keynes and give it a few revs. Gosh, we'll just hang back a little bit because I've got a Golf not going particularly quickly in front of me, and it's again, because it's a beautiful day. It's the first day this year I've seen quite a few classics on the road, and there's also some kind of tractor rally near Bicester. Here we go. I won't tell you how fast I'm going, but I got there fairly quickly. Again, the Golf in front of me, Mark 7 Golf, and they're driving the car like it's a Mark 7 Golf. Boring driving for a fairly boring car. I'm not in a boring car, I'm in a fantastic car. Now, if you are thinking of getting one of these, you've got to be prepared to pay. For a decent example, getting on for 10 grand, I'd have thought. I mean, I've seen some more than that, but I don't think the market would support those kind of numbers. But it is, people think the BRM's rare. These are seriously rare, especially in the 220 turbo version. But if you do get one, the owners club, the Rover Coupe owners club, is superb. You have got absolutely invaluable support from those guys for spares, for information, for knowledge. Oh, this is boring. This is so boring. Skoda Kodiaq just blocking everything up. And we're trying to have fun in one of Rover's finest ever cars. But yeah, seriously good club. If you go to any of the kind of MG Rover or any of the NEC shows, they are often there. They've got a really well set up stand. I don't, obviously not a member myself because I don't own one of those cars, but they're a very helpful bunch of people. So if you do get one, you're not on your own. The support really is there. Right, if this Golf actually puts its bloody foot down, well, come on, mate. Okay, we'll pause for a moment and we'll try and do some better footage in a minute when the Golf disappears. Right, I've let that Golf go ahead, so I'm just going to slow down a bit more because I've got someone naturally right up my bottom. I'm just going to drop it down to third. Probably heard that bump there, so that was just a little ridge in the road, so it is quite, you do notice it, but boy, that acceleration is superb. The sound is superb. You've got a bit of wind noise from the detachable roof, but I don't care. This is just fantastic. I think a bit of wind noise is what you want. Just the wind in your lack of hair, in my case, absolutely superb. On this rather nice, this is an A road, sort of goes between Buckingham and North Milton Keynes. Can be a bit slow going, but just managed to get rid of that Golf, and yeah, this thing's lovely. I'm going to chuck it into this roundabout and we'll go back on ourselves. Gear chain, the clutch and gearbox is just lovely. It's really easy to change gear. Sometimes with Rover products you can get a bit of a crunchy, clunky gear chain. Got another bloody electric car in front of us. Oh, out of that roundabout is superb. 70 without any effort at all. That's just, oh. And it's an interesting engine. Obviously, you've got all the kind of the whining of the turbo, and you've got that wastegate kind of whistling at you every time you change up or down, or change up. But it's a lovely, it's quite a bassy engine for a 4-cylinder, and I would very much like to hear one of these with a pretty raspy stainless. I'm a big, not everyone's a big fan of raspy stainless steel exhausts. I am, because I think a well set up 4-cylinder engine with a good stainless steel exhaust is actually one of the nicer sounds you hear in cars. I know everyone likes V8s and straight 6s, but I just go back to my Honda Civic days, and I know this isn't a Honda Civic, it's related to Honda Civic, but yeah, that Honda Civic Type R that I had in the kind of, was it around 2007, 2008, seriously nice sounding thing. Just 4 cylinders, really good exhaust setup, and it's sounds and smells a part of it. I know that may sound silly, but it really is. But this is quality. I'm really enjoying this, I have to say. So I should probably apologise to that Golf that I was following a little while ago, because I thought he was going slow. We're actually sitting at 60 now, and I'm just thinking to myself, Sunday drivers. But you would not know you're going 60 miles an hour in this car. It's so planted. It's actually quite quiet, just cruising, and it is a comfy chair. You know, even with hard suspension, it's actually a comfy car. But it just feels like it wants to go. I know if I had one of these, I've currently got 3 points on my licence. I would undoubtedly better that if I got one of these cars, because I just wouldn't be able to drive it sensibly. I can't drive any car sensibly, to be honest. Let's go through these windy bits. So yeah, B-road blasts around here are very difficult at the moment. We've got so much railway work with HS2 and East West Rail, that all the B roads are completely shagged, putting it bluntly. There's potholes everywhere. I've been out this morning in the Beamer, and that's got really stiff suspension as well, so that was not fun. But this is quite a windy A road, so it's ideal for driving a car like this. But what a beast. So I'm going to get you back, and then we'll conclude this video. Conclusion on this thing. I'm wearing a Beards and Bangers hat, by the way, now, so these are what you can buy. And if you, I tell you what, I've just given Blain, who owns this car, one of these beanie hats. So if you let me test drive your car, you can also get some free Beards and Bangers merchandise. So there's an offer you can't refuse. Normally conclusions are really hard. I'm looking forward to seeing this car when it's been fully restored to its kind of original spec and colour. But conclusion's easy, just get one. If you can afford it, if it's not a wreck, get one. If you can weld and you can do body work and it's a wreck, get one. Just get one, they're brilliant. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's really easy when it's a car like this. I just always want to drive one of these, and I'm struggling to find too many words because I've enjoyed it so very much. But what a great car. An iconic car, definitely a classic, certainly a modern classic, but I think definitely a classic. Just get one now. Goodbye.